Hey guys, it's SGT Nickel here again, and I'm here to show you how to make a basic fire when you're wet and everything you've got is wet. We're going to pretend that this is just some dry stuff materials that I found. This is just a scenario. I fell in the river. My lighter, as you can see, it got submerged. It's wet along with all my gear. I'm not really going to wet my gear down unless I really fall in the river. So this is just a scenario. This here is a flint strike. It also got wet. I'm just going to show you the difference between the two things and how handy they are. So here I am. I'm hypothermic. I've got uncontrolled shivering. My lips are blue. I just can barely. My hands are really numb. I'm having a hard time to fumble around and basically keep warm. I was able to gather this bit. I have a kindling pile right here. I've got a bigger wood pile right here. I've got all my logs right here. And this is my campfire. Okay, so here I did. I got everything I need now, so I'm ready to light my fire. I'm freezing. I got a little teeny bit warmer because I was moving around trying to get firewood and all that, but I'm still freezing. In fact, I'm probably a little worse than when I just got out of the river. But so I'm now really bummed out. My lighter is busted. It does not work. It needs to dry out. It could take up to 15 minutes drying this thing out. So I'm not wasting my energy. It's gone. It goes away. I didn't really throw away in real life. I would probably put it away. You should always keep a lighter in a Ziploc bag. In my scenario, that's why I messed up. That's why I'm result for the flint strike. Here we are. We got the flint strike. It also got really wet, but this is a little bit easier to use. You just have to dry it. Now my clothes are wet, but it still works a bit. What you're doing is you're just getting away the puddles. You just need to get the puddles off it. So it's basically a wet piece of metal still, and it's magnesium with flint. You scrape the two together, and what it does is it ignites the magnesium off the flint, and it creates a hot amber that falls down onto what you're trying to light. Quite often your duff wouldn't really be paper towels. You wouldn't have it on you. It'd be leaves, pine needles. Sometimes cedar, duff, tree barks can work. Some very dry mosses, dry grass. There's a whole bunch of mediums that you can use as a fire starter. And when you get this going, then you would add your kindling, and then you would add your bigger logs. Sometimes you'll put a big log here, you'll add more to it, and then you get this airflow going through. Because what fire needs are three fundamentals. If you take one of them away, the fire dies. Okay. First thing's fuel, the other is oxygen, and the other is heat, I said. So if you don't have one of them, you're basically on. And heat also counts as dry. They kind of go hand in hand. It needs to be dry, warm. The colder it is, quite often the harder it is to light a fire. You need to get this up to, I think, around 1,000 degrees or more before it's igniting. Wood burns at a higher temperature, so there's this thing called gradual buildup. You need to keep that in mind. So you use your small materials that combust under a lighter or a lower temperature, and then you get those hot up so they're able to combust your logs, and that's how you can burn wood. If you just went with a lighter or a match and go up to a log, it just won't burn, because you need this gradual buildup to create the heat and the combustion, and then it creates the fire, which then starts eating. In a way, fire is very alive. Well, there's a big debate I have with a person. I was in a way just trying to say that fire is very much alive, because it does everything that a living organism does. It even reproduces. It sets out a seed, and it'll land somewhere else, and then it's like a parasitic living organism in a way. This is one way to think of fire. So anyway, I find it very fascinating in just the science of it. But so we've got our flint strike. I'm freezing my butt off, and I'm going to ignite this fire starter just by taking my just a basic knife off this, and I find backward motion works really good. You get the two going, and you can get a decent spark. So what you do is you just set 90 degrees here. Now you want some airflow, so you have to fluff it up just a little bit, and then you go to work, just like that. I just find you get some hot. You'll see some holes starting to burn. When you get that going, I find sometimes even holding it can work. There you go. Oh, almost had it going. Just a second. Just get that puppy going. Usually it doesn't take long at all. I think the fact that things were wet happened to help, but we've got it going. So, as you can see, I just started a fire with just a little flint strike and a knife. Took a few scrapings off there, but these things, I mean, I've had this thing for almost 10 years, and I've only used that much out of it. So, pretty good. They're very cheap. You go to any outfitter store, sometimes hardware stores have them. They're called a flint strike, or I think there's also another name for it, but I've always known them as flint strikes. They come in different shapes, sizes. I've got about 3 different models. All of them are, one's in my camper, one's in my truck, and this one's in my my day bag. So anyway, we'll show you how to light a fire with flint strike, especially when you're wet. Great option to start a fire. Quite often when your lighter doesn't work, lighter was sitting there, as you can see, still not working. It's a brand new lighter. There's gas in it. It's absolutely full. It was submerged in the glass, so it was completely bunk, but I was still able to light a fire with my flint strike, even though they were sitting in the water at the same time, same amount of time. It just shows that there's always more than one way to skin a cat. Thanks for watching.